Your reaction to the news that they are benching Jay Cutler?
Shocked, Lindsay, that they're benching Jay Cutler. I didn't think that Mark Trestman really had that as the top of his agenda, at the top of his agenda. He had been sort of linked, still is, linked with Jay Cutler in every way imaginable. And it's impossible to consider the failure, the stunning failure of the Bears this season and not start. Even before starting with GM Phil Emery, I would start with Trestman and Cutler, probably in that order. And so to see Cutler benched at this point when there are games, I mean, we heard John Gruden essentially call for that Monday night, and I'm thinking that about 99% of the people who follow the Bears agreed with John Gruden. But you would think they could have done this a couple of weeks ago, at least put Clausen in the game, if not start him. So now, I'm wondering, just what it is that Trestman hopes to achieve with this. It took him so long. Is he thinking this is going to save his job at this point?
What do you think about that? I mean, you mentioned their connection. Obviously, Trestman brought in because he was sort of a quote-unquote quarterback whisperer. He admitted today the fact that he feels like they haven't achieved the success that they were supposed to achieve. How short a leash do you believe that Trestman is on?
Well, it should be the leash should be taken off. I mean, they should be past that point. The Bears have had, this is arguably, and I know they've won 5 games, and people can say, wait a minute, they've had worse seasons. And in some ways, Lindsay, they have, and I've followed this team all my life, which is a half century now, and following them. And in some ways, this season is worse than some of the, say, 1-win or 3-win seasons. Because of the way this has gone down, because of the personnel they had on hand. They've got weapons everywhere on offense. Even if the line isn't one of the great lines in Bear history, the skill position players with Marshall and Jeffrey and Bennett and Forte, those players, this has been a massive underachievement. And not because of those players, because of the quarterback and coach. And so, because it's that sort of failure, I don't see why you would come back with this group intact. I'd come back with those skill position players intact, but I wouldn't come back with the coach and quarterback intact. You're not going to get rid of the quarterback necessarily. He's owed too much money after signing a brand-new contract less than a year ago. But, I think many of us who follow this team are looking at how much the Bears want to win. And I'm talking about at the, upper management level. How pressed are they to try to get this team back on track next year? How embarrassed are they now from what's gone down this season? And all those questions have yet to be answered, but this is sort of a first step. And then I don't think many people are going to expect that much of Jimmy Clausen, but it is a reasonable first step as a reaction.
Wilbon, do you think that most people in Chicago believe that Cutler will still be there next season?
Yeah, I think most people believe he'll be there because of the amount of money owed. I mean, Jay Cutler's the highest paid player in the NFL this year, isn't he? At $22 million, I think, and is owed, I believe, somewhere in the neighborhood of $18 million each of the next 2 years. I think it's $36 million guaranteed.
Yeah, $15.5 million guaranteed next year is what Schefter said.
Okay, so we're talking massive amounts of money. You're not going to get out from under that amount of money. So what's the next thing? Are there coaches out there that you think can reach Jay Cutler at this point in his career? That's really probably an ask as well, because we're talking about a guy who's been around, 9 seasons now? I think we know we're going to get from Jay Cutler. If you're not going to see a guy change the year before his contract or the year in which he signs a huge contract, then I don't think we're going to see much in the way of change from him unless there is a coach that can force it out of him.
All right, Michael Wilbon with the latest from the Chicago Bears, the fact that they have chosen to bench Jay Cutler with 2 games left on the season. Wilbon, thank you.